Hello, welcome back to the Coleman channel, and welcome back to another installment of the Tuba Reviewer, where we review films, shows, media that I've watched that I think, hey, I got something to say about that, baby. Speaking of films, if you're a watcher of the Coleman channel, if you've been subscribed for a while, you may have noticed that my latest upload is a film. It's a film that I made. It's called Famous. Please check it out. Give it a little watch. It would mean the world to me. This is a film that I worked on. It was my university film project for this year. It is the first short film that I have written and directed, as opposed to just like, I guess, conceptualizing it and just, you know, running and making it with some dudes. This time, you know, yeah, I wrote a script, and I directed the cast and the crew who all worked together to bring this very epic vision into reality. So yeah, it's just finished. It is currently on my YouTube channel. It's called Famous, a short film. Please check it out. It would be very epic if you did. There'll be another version coming soon. I think my editor just made another cut of the film with some more edits and stuff like that. So I think that'll probably come on the channel pretty soon. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. But in the meantime, please check out Famous, a short film by me and my lovely cast and crew that helped bring it together, because there were some very talented some bitches that were involved in the making of this picture, baby. So yeah, please watch it, check it out. Please leave a comment, any kind of thoughts and ruminations on it, you know, what could be done better and that kind of thing. You know, I'm always looking for constructive criticism, all that kind of thing. Thank you very much. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Famous. We're here to talk about another film that literally just came out and I saw it, I think, yeah, like 2 days ago or something like that now. It's Evil Dead Rise. Vader Rise. I can't do a fucking Palpatine impression, bruh. Yeah. Evil Dead Rise. Another installment in the Evil Dead franchise of films and other such media. Yeah, this one was a surprise, to say the least, that it happened. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a whole, not necessarily a remake, but like I guess a reboot of the Evil Dead franchise. I don't know what the fuck we're kind of calling this right now, but yeah, it's a new thing. It's pretty exciting and pretty epic. If you're not in the know of the Evil Dead or you've not seen it, I highly recommend that you do. I think it's kind of like a mandatory viewing if you're a horror fan. You know, if you're a fan of the horror genre, Evil Dead is whole fucking, it's its own thing entirely. You know what I'm saying? It's obviously made by the genius man Sam Raimi, the first original Evil Dead back in 1980 some fucking thing or other. That was his breakout film into the industry and all that kind of stuff. Obviously starring Bruce Campbell, everyone's favourite big chin motherfucker, as Ash Williams, one of the greatest, I think, horror protagonists of all time, kind of anti-hero. He's just fucking great. He's funny as fuck, and you know, he's also an unwilling protagonist who doesn't want anything to do with anything going on. He'd rather just nope kind of thing. And he's got a chainsaw for a hand, and he runs around with a big double-barrel shotgun fighting deadites who are fucking crazy, madcap, chaotic, possessed people and demons, using the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead, bound in human flesh and written in blood. It's pretty simple premise, pretty fucking crazy execution, and it's fucking great. Yeah, you should watch all. I think there's not a single thing in the Evil Dead franchise in terms of like films and shows and stuff that I would have said were actually bad. I think all of it's actually really good. The first film is kind of redundant, which is hilarious, because like Evil Dead 2 is basically Evil Dead 1 again, told the same way but differently, and there's also way more crazy stuff going on, so you don't even need to watch the first one, but you still watch it anyway, you know. And then of course Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness just fucking does a whole different thing, time travel and all that crazy shit. And then of course there was a 2013 remake, which, you know, if you've been watching the Tube review, you might know how I feel about remakes in general. I don't like them, but this one's actually, you know, it's pretty good. It's a good film. It's got some crazy good stuff going on. I like it, actually. And of course there's Ash vs Evil Dead, the TV series that was on Star. Yeah, that fucking shit kicks ass too. It's a great continuation of the Evil Dead story in a new way with new characters, an old man Ash and stuff, and you know, it's just fucking great, bro. Just check it all out. Check it all out. It's all good. And it kind of brings me to what I thought about Evil Dead Rise, non-spoiler free. And actually, again, I thought Evil Dead Rise was fucking cool. I was pleasantly surprised at how cool it was, actually. I did not know what to expect when I came in to watch it, especially because it's not tied to the Ash Williams story at all. You know, it's not got Ash in it, or his Ash versus Evil Dead buddies, and it's not got any really of that kind of crazy madcap horror comedy kind of thing, where the comedy is just the sheer chaos that's going on mixed with this actual genuine horror. You know, it's a really good tightrope that Evil Dead walks. But even without that, you know, Sam Raimi executive produced it, Bruce Campbell executive produced it, they put their stamp of approval on it, and you can kind of see that, you know, when you're watching the film, you can see, yeah, I can see why these two think this is worthy to be released as a film, because it is. I thought it was just really, really fucking cool. It basically had Evil Dead elements, obviously, as you'd expect, and did it in a whole new kind of different way that's doesn't like insult or dishonor the original premise format of the Evil Dead, whereas, you know, dudes go to a cabin, find the book, read book, people get possessed, crazy stuff happens. It's basically the same, that whole thing, just in a different setting with different characters and for a new audience, I suppose. Yeah, no, it was just fucking cool, you know what I mean? It was fucking crazy. It was what you'd expect to see from an Evil Dead film. Fucking chaos at all times, plenty of blood, plenty of guts and gore, plenty of action, and even, you know, when there was comedy, there wasn't a lot of it, but there was comedy. It was funny. You know, it was definitely made me lol. It just wasn't lots of it, which is fair enough. And the cast are pretty good too, you know, for what they were. There was a few people in it, and they're not like tropey slasher victims where you know they're being introduced just to get killed. At least from my perspective, I didn't know who was going to live and who was going to die in this film, and it certainly does not fucking disappoint when it shows you what happens. Yeah, everything about it was just like really fucking good, from the cinematography to the set design, the location, the characters, the makeup of the Deadites and stuff like that, the acting in particular of the Deadites, my fucking Christ. Some nice new surprises here and there, a lot of influence from a lot of other films, it feels like you can fucking quite clearly see. Not maybe to a fault, I don't know if it's to a fault, I think for some people might think it's to a fault. People are like, clearly this is from that film, you know, but is it paying homage? Is it just like this guy really likes this film that he's based this scene off of, or based this moment off of? I don't know. Personally, I think it's a nice homage to these things. It doesn't really bother me all that much. Great soundtrack as well. Soundtrack was fucking fantastic, and it feels like a Sam Raimi film, because if you've seen any kind of Sam Raimi movie, whether it's fucking Evil Dead or Spider-Man or whatever else, he's got these very specific methods of editing and cutaways and passes of time. You know, he does all these really weird things that are very unique to him, and they're very much here in this film. I felt, not to a massive extent, but there was a lot of moments where I saw it happening on the screen, particularly the title opening. The title opening, man, holy shit, screams Sam Raimi all over it, which is really, really cool. That there's a nice little homage to his editing, obviously with like the POV flying camera thing. You can't have an Evil Dead film without the flying camera, which is supposed to symbolize the evil in the film. Obviously that's there. Yeah, it's all great, it's all really cool. It's just there is a crazy amount of homage to like other horror films in this movie. It's fucking really weird actually how many you can point out, but we'll get into that in the spoilerific review. But in general, I would really just summarize it by saying it's a really, really cool film. It was a pleasant surprise. It was hard to watch in some places. It really kind of makes your skin crawl, and it's very tense as well. Got a lot of great tension building, not overly reliant on jump scares. There's one or two in there that kind of makes you, it's this point in time you just see and you go, like, no reaction. It's like, yep, there it is. Person jumps in the corner. Oh, you scared me. Ooh, very scary. Not really scary, but there's not a lot of that, to be fair. Yeah, it's just really cool. It was a great romp. It was a good installment into the Evil Dead franchise. It's a whole new start. I'm very curious to see where they're going to go with it. I hope they do go somewhere with it. I guess because it's called Evil Dead Rise. I guess it's supposed to mean they're rising up and something else is going to start. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where it's going to go. If it goes anywhere at all, I don't know. Evil Dead Rise kind of reads to me like they're rising up and something else is going to happen. You know, I don't know. That's just me. That's my own kettle of fish. That's my own 2 cents on that, I think. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all I can say about spoiler free. There's not too much else to say. It's just a great installment into the Evil Dead franchise and a whole new start. And give it a look. You know, it's got the Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell seal of approval. You know, they're basically any kind of Evil Dead project that happens, they two are on board always. So if they're on board and they give it their stamp, then, you know, it must be good. And it is good, you know. You don't need Ash Williams in every Evil Dead thing. I think it's really cool that they've managed to establish Evil Dead as its own thing without Ash. And I know this could be heresy to some people. It's like saying you can have Friday the 13th without Jason. But I guess it's not really in that way, because it's not like, you know, Friday, the main draw of films like that is because you're there for the slasher villain to go out and murder people. Whereas for Evil Dead, it's more like you're just there to see a plot and a story. It's not just like a murder fest. There's like actual things going on throughout the whole thing, and Ash Williams is the main protagonist. So I think Evil Dead, and it's proven here with this film, is the kind of thing where you can pass the mantle on to someone else and make a whole new world, a whole new story without Ash's involvement being in it, you know what I mean? And there's some homage to him there, obviously, here and there, which is to be expected, but yeah, you kind of don't even think about him when he's in the when you're watching this, which is damn impressive to say the least, because Ash is a fucking fantastic character. So thumbs up. So I guess for the spoilerific review, I didn't really watch a lot of trailers, so yeah, I did not know what to expect when I was watching this, other from the taglines that it was a family, and the main deadite, the first deadite that appears is the mother of the family. So that's kind of all I knew. It lures you in at first with the opening. It's like the familiar setting, cabin setting in the woods type beat. First homage immediately. I'm pretty sure there's definitely a Midsummer homage in there, because the cabin that they stay in is a big fuck off triangle, which is kind of hard to miss. It's a very specific shape for a fucking cabin, especially for Evil Dead, so I immediately kind of thought Midsummer when I saw that. And that's another shot. Just I'm going to be all over the place here, but I'm just basically trying to say, because I'm talking about this scene, is that the framework in that scene was fucking great, with the big cabin right in the middle of this shot, with like the trees, the big like dead trees kind of all around it, encapsulate, like surrounding it almost. It's this big centered thing, almost like it's so centered, like Wes Anderson style, and it just looks fucking sick. And that was the first thing that made me go, this film is gonna have some really good shots and camera work, and it's gonna look nice, and it was. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there immediately, first thing that I thought of. But yeah, it lures you in. It's like, oh, it's the typical setting from the Evil Dead that you know and love, but then boom, no, it's not. This whole thing is happening, and the main story's a day earlier than you thought it would be, which is pretty cool. Because it just immediately starts off with all these deadites and shit. And the first brutal kill's like a scalping, which is really crazy. And then obviously they had to get in that funny technology joke where the first scene the first shot of the whole film is the flying camera Evil Dead classic, and then it's revealed it's a drone. Haha, very fucking funny. Not got a big problem with that, but it's just like, that's to be expected. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why whatever, it's not a big thing. I just like, oh, it's a drone, haha, lol. I mentioned the title sequence already. That's fucking shit kicked ass, man. It's so fucking cool. But yeah, that's lures you in. Oh, it's classic Evil Dead, what we know what to expect. Boom, deadites immediately. Boom, next scene, it's a day earlier. Everything that happens in the film happens a day before the opening scene, is basically what happens, which is pretty interesting to me. But in terms of the plot, it's like, you know, it's nothing particularly crazy. The family are quite interesting. There's just some family shit going on. It's a single mother and her 3 kids. They're all punk as fuck. Like, the mum's a tattoo artist. The son is just like a fucking metalhead or just a music man, a audiophile, I think is a better word for it. Just like all these posters and this, you know, people, they're all like cropped hair, short trimmed hair, fucking sleeveless fucking shirts and fucking tattoos abound. It was a very specific, it's a very specific family dynamic going on. I don't know why. They're all punk as fuck. I'm not complaining about it. It's just a very specific thing for some reason that they did. And of course, it's just the same as the mother's sister, who is the first character we see after the one day earlier thing. And then she comes out of the house and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a very specific dynamic there with the whole punk thing, which is like, you know, fair enough, interesting, I suppose. All the characters are, you know, serviceable, cool enough, they'll have their thing. One thing that I was found was a hard sell was the youngest daughter, who I think was maybe like, probably like 6 or 7. I don't know, like, I think with a thing like Evil Dead, it's a hard sell to have a child that young in a world like that, where it's like fucking possessed human beings who just are fucking insane, blood and guts everywhere, breaking bones and being all jittery and screaming, and you know, the kid's just kind of like, I don't know, it's not a non-reaction, but if I was a 6-year-old kid, I think I'd be freaking out way fucking more. The kid doesn't really freak out that much, and I don't know, it's like, yeah, you know, the kid was fine, but it's like, it's just a hard sell, that kind of thing. It kind of takes you out of it a little bit when you're looking at this 6-year-old fucking child looking at her own mother, screeching and being a fucking creature, fucking crawling on walls and ceilings and shit, and not really reacting the way you'd think a 6-year-old would when you see their mother doing these kind of unorthodox things. I don't know. I kind of just pulled me out of it a little bit. The kid was fine, you know, it's a fine actress and all that kind of stuff. That's not the problem. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's just kind of hard having a kid in that kind of setting and that kind of film. And it could be done, I guess, you know. There was a kid from Colour Out of Space who was really fucking good, just as an example, but I don't know. It's a very different kind of thing, vibe. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how I felt about it. I didn't know if I liked it, to be honest. But, you know, the rest of the film was good enough that it didn't ruin anything for me, so that's fine. I wasn't too sure if that was a good choice, having a 6-year-old kid in an Evil Dead film like this. Yeah, all this happens in an apartment building, which is really cool. Again, this is some great shots of the flat outside, the apartment building outside, and the house itself. There's always something going on inside the house, lots of detail and things in all the rooms. You know, there's just always a visual feast going on. The set design was really, really well done, I think. There was just a lot going on, and it's nice to look at. It's not boring, it's busy, and your eyes are kept occupied the whole time. But yeah, interesting choice, especially because, you know, an apartment's very busy and it's filled with lots of people. I wasn't too sure how that worked. It was basically this whole floor was occupied by deadites, you know, the neighbours and stuff were getting fucking murdered and shit, and basically no one else, top or bottom, was really getting affected, which makes you wonder, like, did the deadites do something? It doesn't really tell you why, no one knows, because this ties in with the opening scene. The girl from the opening scene lives in the same apartment, and then she leaves the apartment that day, the day after all the craziness has happened, all the deadites have happened, and doesn't seem to know that anything fucking happened until near the end, where she sees all the fucking debris, blood and guts and etc. So it's like, what happened? How did the deadites do something? They don't really tell you, and I don't know if they were supposed to, or you kind of come to your own conclusion. Maybe you are, I don't know. Maybe I feel like the deadites probably did do something, like the noise cancellation in the fucking flat, or something. I don't fucking know. But it was just weird thinking that this is a whole ass apartment complex that did not know that there was murder, possession, demons in the fucking building. You know, because it's different to like the other Evil Dead films, where the majority of them happen in this cabin in the woods, like away from everybody. Makes sense, right? How the fuck is anyone gonna know? But you know, it's different when it's like a whole ass apartment building in a city or a town or something like that, and this is all happening and no one really seems to know. it's interesting. It's not a bad thing. It just makes you think, like, is there a reason why? I don't know if there is. I'd hope so. Otherwise, that's pretty fucking dumb, isn't it? But you know, you can kind of be sensible about it and reckon the Deadites have probably done something so no one knows what's going on. Maybe, potentially. And it further develops in terms of how the family find the Necronomicon itself. I don't think it's called the Necronomicon in this film. I can't remember what it was called. It's some Latin name, but they still call it the Book of the Dead anyway. It's underneath the apartment building. Apparently it used to be a bank. Earthquake happens, they find a vault, and the Necronomicon, I'm just going to call it that because that's what I fucking call it, the Necronomicon's in there, and it was buried by some sect of priests or something who tried to use it for good, and then they read from it and then they realised, oh shit, everyone's turning into Deadites and we're all fucked. So yeah, like, I'm imagining this is like, these are all different like jigsaw pieces that make you think that they will make another film, because it's like, why was it this bank? Who are these priests that put it there? Was there a reason why this earthquake happened to specifically reveal this bit? You know, these are these kind of questions that don't get answered particularly, and you're kind of left to your own devices to wonder why. And again, it's all set, I imagine it's all set up for later on. It's one of these things where they have a lot of unanswered questions and then you can assume that there's going to be another one that comes out later. Again, Evil Dead Rise probably means first, I don't know. But that was one of the many, many vehicles that the film used to set up potentially more. I wish they kind of answered a little bit, to be fair. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm being greedy. Maybe it's good to have a little bit of mysteriousness to it. But, you know, it would be nice to know who these priests were. They give their names, but it's like, why was it this bank? What happened? You know what I mean? Like, what's the whole reasoning behind it? Can we get like a little nugget of information instead of just like jumping balls in? That may be just a preference thing. I don't think that's a major critique, because the film functions perfectly fine without answering any of these questions, and then you're wondering to yourself why. But personally, I would have liked some sustenance, would like some nuggets of lore to go with my movie plot cereal. You know what I'm saying? I would have just personally preferred that. You know, that would have been nice. But alas, no, they didn't. And yeah, the whole reason the book gets read is because there's vinyl records that have the recordings and stuff. That whole bit was great. The voiceover of the priest was really eerie and spooky and scary, especially when he starts reading it in the Necronomicon language, or if it's Latin or whatever, and then the speakers just go fucking crazy and shit. And then there's like a later recording basically saying, yeah, don't do this. Bit fucking late for that. They numbered it very poorly. I don't know why they would have done that. It seems a bit dumb, to be fair. Like, the vinyl records are just 1, 2, 3, and then the first one has the reading. The second one is like, this is, oh no, the first one is like, they present the Necronomicon, it's like, we're going to read this, someone goes, no. Second one, they kicked us out, let's read it. Third one, everything's going wrong, my friends are evil, run, there's nothing you can do, run. It's like, yeah, maybe you should have numbered them 1, 2, 3 instead. Went, everyone said it was a bad idea, read it, this was a bad idea, or maybe just get rid of the first two. I don't know, it's very fucking weird. Maybe they weren't expecting anyone to find them at all. I just thought that was a bit of a setup for disaster, wasn't it? Priest, man, why the fuck did you do that? I don't know. I don't know if that was a smart thing or it was just dumb storytelling or whatever. But again, you know, it's not particularly awful. Like, the rest of the film is just so cool anyway that, you know, like, you can kind of, it doesn't stick out at you like a sore thumb. It's just in retrospect, it's like, is there a reason for this? Because there's obviously, like I keep saying, there's a lot of unanswered questions that you imagine will get answered later. So it's like, is that what this is part of? Is it going to be, you know, I don't fucking know. Bad, good, don't know. I'm not too sure about the vinyl thing. But yeah, all the Deadeye action kicks ass. You know, the mother who plays like the main Deadeye, I don't know the actress's name. Yeah, Alyssa Sutherland, that's her name. She was fucking, she's a model. She's a model, and she just turns into a fucking creature when she's a Deadite. Like, you can just tell she's really having fun with the role, just acting like a fucking maniac. switching back and forth between these deadites inside her and the mother, you know, baiting the kids into like, don't hurt me, I'm your mama, and then going blah, 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 and all that shit. She just fucking nails it. It's just so fucking cool. And it does get a bit goofy with, like, you know, the humour comes from like the sudden, just when she jumps onto fucking people and attacks them. There's a scene where she bites a guy's eyeball out and spits it out directly at someone, and then they choke on it. That's fucking funny. That's just the kind of chaotic humour the Evil Dead fucking thrives on, which is really, really neat. But yeah, the Deadites were all really good. And they did a good job of not knowing who was going to actually die next, because there was a big family and then also the neighbours. There was a lot of people, so it really got you wondering, like, there's no way they're going to kill this whole family off, right? Jeez, bruh, they all fucking get marked. Everybody gets fucked up apart from the sister, not the mum, the sister and the youngest daughter are the only fucking survivors, which is fucking insane. And all the neighbours get fucking murdered and they all get deadited and all that kind of stuff, which leads up to the grand reveal at the end, where they all fucking morph into one great deadite. That was fucking crazy. Feels like a homage to Colour Out of Space. That was fucking nuts. But yeah, like I said, there was a lot. Speaking of homage, speaking of fucking Midsummer, speaking of Colour Out of Space, there was a lot of Shining homage in this. Like, there was a scene where the mum deadite gets locked out of the house, and it's that classic scene of, you know, where Jack Torrance is up against the door and the camera's underneath him, so he's like, you know, looking at the door on, you know, it does that exact shot. There's a scene where they're trapped in an elevator trying to escape and it gets filled up with blood, and then the shot happens outside the elevator and the door opens, blood elevator, you know, that whole fucking, there's a lot of Shining influence here. Maybe that's again a lot of influence for like the camera work as well. There's a lot of like maybe Kubrick kind of stuff going on, which is cool. Stanley Kubrick's my favourite director ever, so that's fine. I can fuck with this type thing. But there was a lot of homage stuff going on. It was like pretty obvious when you see it. Again, some people might not like that. Some people think that may be a bit cop-out-y. But, you know, I don't care, bro. Like, if you like the films and the direct influence on you, like, it's nice to see that happen. And see, you know, there's a dude that likes that. Good. He knows his stuff. Good taste. This is probably why this film's pretty neat, because he knows good shit. That's that kind of thing, you know. And again, the music was fucking great. There was a lot of these big, bombastic, dramatic, orchestral pieces that play whenever some crazy, pretty much akin to what you'd expect from the Evil Dead, like specifically Army of Darkness, which has this crazy orchestral, big, booming music going on the whole time. Rise has a lot of the same stuff, where like the Deadites are coming in and then, you know, the book's being read and the pages are turning itself. It's just so fucking cool. The music really rocked. It really rocked. It was so fucking cool. And like I say, Evil Dead's interesting because it walks this line between like goofy, like genuine slapstick comedy and outright body horror and madness. This film was definitely leaned more towards the horror element than the comedy. There was some good little goofball moments, like I said, with the eyeball choke and stuff, but yeah, it was definitely more leaning towards horror. And there was a lot of really great tension and bodily fucking skin crawling things, people eating glass, someone's eye about to get poked at with like a tattoo gun, you know, that kind of shit. Just some good tense tension building shit going on when you know someone's been possessed by deadite and they're just sitting with their back turned to the camera. It happens all the fucking time. That's just great. You love that kind of thing. Yeah, I just looked fucking spooky, scary. It was fucking great. Good bit of tension all the way through, especially when all the deadites pull up near the end. Really nice homage to the original Evil Dead there as well, because all these deadites have their own unique look. The classic deadites have like all white eyes. There was one deadite that had that. That was, you know, pretty cool. And then of course you've got a chainsaw in the film and a boomstick, you know, a nice double barrel shotgun. The classic weapons of Ash, which get used by the girl, the sister. Who's she played by, just to be specific? Yeah, Lily Sullivan. She's been set up as well, so they live and they escape. She's kind of being set up to be the big fucking deadite hunter badass. She's also pregnant, which makes you wonder. Yeah, they're all Australian actors too, and it seems like this film's kind of where they got their start as well. It's like their big break film, so in terms of people that I've never seen before, they're all fucking great. Like, GG's on a I guess, a all new kind of cast, because I don't recognise any of these people. I'm looking at their Wikipedia pages and these are films I'm not familiar with at all. But yeah, there's really not much else to say other than you really need to just go and see it. That's all the things I really liked about it, and some of the things I thought were a little bit dumb. Is it my favourite Evil Dead film? Fucking no. Like, Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness will take that fucking one any day of the week. But man, is that a worthy successor. Man, is it exciting to think that there's going to be more of this Evil Dead. And, you know, is it going to tie in with Evil Dead? Like, Ash Williams is Evil Dead? Because we don't know. Like, obviously the idea that Ash gets displaced through time and all that kind of shit. I don't know how it is now. Like, I've not watched Ash vs. Evil Dead in a long time. I don't remember how that fucking story ends or whatever, but it could. I don't know. I'd be happy either way. If it does or doesn't, you know, it's fine. It'll be really good on its own. It's its own franchise, its own reboot. It'd be really cool if Ash pulled up. Who fucking knows? I don't think Bruce Campbell wants to fucking do that anyway. I think he's done. So who knows? Who fucking knows? The point is, if you like Evil Dead, if you're a big Evil Dead fan, like, you should fucking see it. You need to see it. It's fucking great. You'll love it. It's good, apart from the little dumb things I mentioned, but who knows, that may all change as the time goes on, if they make another film or what. And I hope they do. I hope they do. Epic to lame ratio time, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So, on the epic to lame ratio, ladies and gentlemen, Evil Dead Rise, I think it sits pretty snugly in probably low tier or very epic. I think it sits pretty snugly in there. You know, it's a fun romp. It's great. You know, it's not my favourite Evil Dead film that they made, but it's fucking cool. It had some all great homages to other horror films. The camera work was fucking great. Set design was fucking great. Characters were great. It's a pretty decent story. You know, it's nothing crazy or mind-blowing, but it does enough different from Evil Dead. Does some new stuff while retaining loyalty to the original source material. And it's just great, you know. It's just a good Evil Dead film. And I'm quite excited to see what happens in the future. Hopefully, if they do make more after Evil Dead Rise, they get better and better and better. But for the now, for this moment, low tier, very epic, I think, is where Evil Dead Rise should sit. And that's my review of the film, ladies and gentlemen. Tube review is going to be for films I just have things to say about. I had something to say about Evil Dead Rise. I reviewed it, baby. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments below. If you liked it, you didn't like it, etc, etc. Your thoughts and opinions. I read all of the comments. So yes, be sure to check out Famous as well. More content's on the is coming. I apologise that there's just been a lot of like reviews and me talking into a camera recently, but you know, I'm just fucking busy with other projects. I'd made that fucking film just there. And there's other content coming as well. I've got other university projects I'm going to be bringing onto this channel as well that you can watch and enjoy and have a look at. There'll be one coming along very soon, so stay tuned for that. I've been Coleman. This has been the Tube Review. Let's do an Evil Dead camera thing.